New Zealand English. Now, what is it? Is it important for you to know this form of English? Is it necessary to know what this specific form of English has to say? So the answer to this is yes. Now, why I said yes, this video further is going to justify this answer. So yes, it is important, and now you will get to know why. But before that, welcome everyone, and I hope all of you are doing great, all of you are doing well, keeping yourselves fit and fine and healthy. So now let's get started. So the very first thing that I want to state about this specific form of English is that I was also very excited to share this one because it is very different from the other forms of English that I had already discussed in my previous videos. So why I was excited about this is because the facts itself are so interesting that whosoever gets to know about these things, that person will be fascinated to know about it. And then definitely later you are going to think that why didn't you know this earlier? So yes, that is how it is going to be in the video. Now, as I already said, that New Zealand English is different from the other forms of English, but here I would like to add one very important point, and that is that the basic roots of New Zealand English have been taken from British English only. So although the words might differ in terms of vocabulary, in terms of pronunciations, slangs, but then the roots are the same. The roots are similar as what we follow in British English or American English, or XYZ, any other form of English. So having said that, moving on to the vocabulary portion, the vocabulary is a bit different. Actually, it's very different from what we say in the other forms of English. Now, to prove that, here I would like to tell about two words as an example. So the first word is Kia. Now, if any person wants to say hello to the other person, then that person would definitely tend to say Kia. The other word is whanau. Whanau is a term used for family. So if I want to say family in New Zealand English, then it would be whanau. Both of these words belong to indigenous language, and that language is Maori culture. Now this Maori culture especially is followed in New Zealand only, and that is what is their native language. So that is how it is said. Talking about some pronunciations like we did in the previous videos as well, I also said that the pronunciations of alphabets might differ from each other. So the pronunciation of this alphabet E, which is a vowel itself, which has a vowel sound also. So this E is actually pronounced in a different way. For example, if I had to say red in English, I would say red, but a person belonging to New Zealand would say read. So their pronunciation is actually a bit different. It might sound funny, but it is actually what it is. If I had to say step, S-T-E-P, step, so they would pronounce it as stip, which will definitely make you think that they are literally saying S-T-I-P. So that is how it is. Now, if they say, if I had to say dress, then I would say dress, but the person belonging to that specific nation would say dress. So it would be dress. Then talking about the pronunciation of R, this is the same as I already told you in other form of English as well. So if a person has to say car, then he would say car, because here again the pronunciation of R is going to be non-rhotic sound. So it is actually not going to be pronounced. People belonging to this specific nation, they often tend to not to use a lot of articles between the sentences that they frame. So for this, a very good example would be if a person has to say going to the beach, then the person belonging to this specific nation would say going to beach. So that is how they tend to not to place articles wherever it is needed. And this is a very good example with the help of which we can understand that yes, this is the rule that they follow when they speak in English. They even drop the pronunciation of H and R, as I already mentioned, that in New Zealand English, the pronunciation of R is generally non-rhotic, and same is the case with the letter H. So they even don't pronounce H in specific particularly. Now, next, talking about the Kiwi slangs that they use. Now, this is what they use in New Zealand English. This is the term Kiwi they use there. So, there are some words like chili bin. Now, chili bin is a term that they use in their language, and in our language, we would understand it as a cooler, like a small cooler wherein you know it helps to cool things. And then another word can be togs. Now, togs is something that we call as bathing suits or swimwear in our English, and this is the term that they use in their own language for swimwear or bathing suits. So this is actually a swimsuit for them. Then the last word here I would like to mention is bro. Now, we've heard this word a lot of times, and these days people generally use this word a lot. Bro is again used in the same way as we people do it. So it's one and the same thing for the people belonging to New Zealand and the people belonging to the other cultures as well, the speak English speaking cultures basically. So, with this, I would like to say that I was very happy to share this specific piece of information with all of you. And having said that, yes, I do remember that I have to share a similar vocabulary with all of you. And I think that it is going to be very interesting. Even if it's not going to help you, then it will be interesting. Sometimes it's just good to know things like as it is. So, yes, I will be doing that also. And this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next video again. And please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for more latest updates. Thank you. See you.